Hey guys, it's Bryn here, and today I'd like to check in with you to give you my predictions for this year's Academy Awards, and they're happening tomorrow night. That's Sunday, February 22nd, and for me, this is my favorite time of the year. I watch all of the award shows leading up to the Oscars, and then tomorrow night will be the main night where I get so excited, and I'll hunker down and watch all of the red carpet coverage, and all of the arrivals, and the fashion police rundown, everything like that, and sit down with my list of who should win and who will win and see how it matches up. So I'll start with Best Actor, and I think that Eddie Redmayne will probably win for The Theory of Everything. He does a really good job of the physical mannerisms of playing Stephen Hawking. You really feel like you're watching Stephen Hawking's life unfold, and that's a big credit to Eddie for that movie. I mean, he's so convincing, and it's always interesting when an actor does a really good job of playing a real person. So I think he's got a really good chance. But if I had a vote, I would probably pick Michael Keaton for Birdman. His performance is so memorable and so exciting. There's the similarity between Michael Keaton in real life, who played Batman back in the early 90s, who's now resurrected his career, and then the Birdman character who played Birdman years ago and is now trying to resurrect his career by doing a play on Broadway, but it's not as successful as Birdman is for Michael Keaton. But Hollywood loves good comeback stories, so I think if anybody has the chance to beat Eddie, it would be Michael Keaton, and that's what I would pick. He's who I would pick, but I think Eddie will probably take it. For supporting actor, I would say J.K. Simmons will likely win for Whiplash. He plays a band teacher who is kind of crazy and terrible and terrifying, but he really motivates the students to practice and to do the very best they can. The theme, or the main question of Whiplash, is how far should you push yourself and how far should you go to really be excellent at something? What's it worth? How far should you push yourself to be an excellent musician? Sorry, apparently I can't say that today. And I think that was a really interesting question, and it's an exciting movie. Not a lot really happens, but it never loses your attention, so it's worth seeing, and he will definitely win. Edward Norton's nominated for Birdman, but I don't feel like he was the memorable part of that movie. He was good, but I don't see that happening. And I think it's funny, Robert Duvall's nominated for The Judge, and I think I was like one of the only people that really liked that movie. I loved Robert Downey Jr., but I think that I always love Robert Downey Jr., so maybe I'm just not quite objective about that movie because of that. And also, in another life, I probably would have been a lawyer. So I just love that sort of thing. I love legal dramas. So if you don't, maybe that's why people didn't like The Judge. I don't know. For Best Actress, I think that Julianne Moore will likely win, and I think she was fantastic, but I didn't love the movie, and that's because I had just read the book maybe a week or two before I saw the movie, and it's the sort of book where it portrays the character's inner thoughts and her feelings about being diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So you really get an idea of what she's going through, and it's hard to translate that to film, so Julianne did a wonderful job trying to portray this character and making you really get into the story. But like I said, it's just harder because you don't know everything that she's struggling with and everything that she's feeling. Like in the book, for example, she's trying to make this pudding, and she can't remember how many eggs or the different ingredients that she needs. And in the book, you read how frustrated she is in the process of her trying to remember. And then when her children come in the kitchen and they're trying to say, "Hey, Mom, how many eggs?" and she's frustrated. In the movie, that only takes a split second to happen because she tried to make pudding for a second and then they move on, right? It's just a different sort of thing. So I shouldn't have read the book right beforehand, and I'll have to watch the movie again in a couple of years to really appreciate it and to feel the emotion of the story, I think. But Julianne's great, and I think the only one that could really give her a run for her money in this category is Reese Witherspoon for Wild, and that's largely, I think, because Reese had played a big role in making the movie actually happen. For supporting actress, everyone says Patricia Arquette is going to win for Boyhood, and I am indifferent to this category. I don't feel like there's anybody that was really amazing that I'm really rooting for. Meryl Streep is nominated for Into the Woods, and usually if Meryl's nominated, you think, oh, well, she's got to have a great chance, right? Or she'll be the favorite. But she played, kind of a Wicked Witch character in Into the Woods with crazy blue hair and a crazy blue dress, and she was, the mom or the abductor or whatever of Rapunzel. And it was funny. I went to Into the Woods with some of my family members who weren't aware that it was a musical. So very early on, they were very disappointed in that movie. So it is just not the sort of role that Meryl's going to walk away with an award for. I just don't see it happening. So Patricia Arquette will likely win, but I feel like her performance was, the kind of mother in a dysfunctional family sort of role that we've seen a million times before, and I don't know what exactly is making her stand out to so many people, and I would love if you could explain to me. If you loved that movie and loved her in it, then please leave a comment below. Animated feature, I really didn't see very many animated movies this year. I did see The Box Trolls, and I liked it. Big Hero 6, I've heard, is quite good. My relatives liked it. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is my prediction and is apparently the favorite. But I'm just not sure. I feel like this category it's an important category. It was created to recognize really transcendent great movies like WALL-E. But this year there just isn't anything of that caliber. So not that excited. Adapted screenplay, I think, will be The Imitation Game, written by Graham Moore. I really liked that movie. It wasn't amazing, but if you like war movies and you like history and are interested in World War II, then it's really fascinating to watch Benedict Cumberbatch as Alan Turing trying to break this Nazi code machine so they can not only end, but win the war. And so it was fun, and I always like Keira Knightley. So adapted screenplay, for original screenplay, this I think will be Birdman, and Birdman is, the perfect nominee for this category because it was something out of the box, something new and exciting, which I think is ideal for this category. I always look for something like, a Quentin Tarantino movie that is all of the things I've just mentioned, exciting and new, and really grabs your attention the whole way through. Cinematography, I believe, will also be Birdman. It has kind of a dark look to the movie, so if you watch the trailer, you think, this is kind of different looking. I don't know, but it really fits because, this Birdman character and Michael Keaton's character, he's in a dark state of mind. He's depressed, he's pondering his future and thinking about his past, and so I think the dark look of the film is really fitting. Costume design, I think, will be The Grand Budapest Hotel. I didn't love the movie. People say, oh, it's quirky and it's Wes Anderson, and okay, but quirky doesn't mean that it's a great movie, right? I didn't love it, but I did think that they looked nice, so that's my pick for that. The directing category, this is always an exciting award, but I'm torn between two this year. I'm torn between Birdman and Boyhood. You know that I liked Birdman better as a movie, but I do think that Boyhood director Richard Linklater deserves credit for filming over 12 years. It's something that is innovative, and I think the Academy likes to reward directors that push the envelope and do something new like that. So I think that Linklater is likely to win, but I do think that Alejandro Inarritu, I'm not sure how to say his last name correctly, I think he's got a shot here, and it could be either of them, but if I had to put some money on it, it would be Richard Linklater. Documentary feature would be Citizen 4, that's my pick. Film editing, I've heard Boyhood is the favorite in this category, which kind of makes me laugh because it's 2 hours and 45 minutes and quite frankly could not hold my attention. I kept waiting for something to happen, and it just didn't. I was quite bored and underwhelmed by this movie. But that being said, filming over 12 years, it would be really hard to condense all of that down into a movie that's 2 or 3 hours long. So I think that Boyhood will win for that category. Original score, I think, will be The Theory of Everything. Original song, I think, will be Glory from Selma. I didn't really love Selma as a movie. It was good. I felt like the portrayal of Martin Luther King was really, really great, but I thought maybe there was some historical inaccuracies in the story itself, so maybe not as well done as it could have been, but that song, Glory, really stands out, and I think it'll win. Okay. So, one of the last awards that I will talk about here is visual effects, and my prediction will be Interstellar. If there's anything to say about Interstellar, it's definitely visually stunning, and so it's the perfect winner for this category. I feel like Interstellar is what Gravity should have been, or was trying to be. Where Gravity was pretty to look at, it really was just Sandra Bullock tumbling around in space, screaming and squealing and panicking. And the story, for me, left a lot to be desired. Whereas Interstellar, it's got that visually stunning look, but it's also got the story and the substance behind it. There's even a documentary narrated by Matthew McConaughey called The Science of Interstellar. So if you like that movie, it'd be really good to check out. It talks about black holes and all of that sort of thing. But to me, Interstellar, in addition to just looking great, it raised moral issues and big human questions like, should you sacrifice yourself to save the human race? Or should you let the human race die? Should you let an end come to humankind so that you could spend what little time you have left with your loved ones? That's a fascinating question. And so, when it comes to a great movie, I want a movie to make me think and feel and ponder, and I feel like a movie like Interstellar, it probably should have been nominated for Best Picture. So many of these movies are kind of artsy-fartsy, obscure, not many people have seen them. Well, Interstellar was great in its own right. It represents such a big issue, the idea of the future of the human race and space exploration, the future of space exploration. Can you imagine if in the future that scenario does come true, where we're no longer able to stay on Earth and we need to explore space to find a new place to live? I mean, that's fascinating to me. And so I think movies like that should be given stronger consideration for Best Picture. And that takes me to my pick for Best Picture. I would select Birdman, for sure. I think it's funny, a couple of months ago, around the time of the Golden Globes, everybody was saying, boy, it's going to win, filming over 12 years, that was so innovative and cool, and I love the story. But now they're all saying Birdman, which is what I've said all along, and I hope that is the movie that wins. I just felt like Boyhood was completely underwhelming. Here's this dysfunctional family, and okay, like, I've seen too many movies like that. I didn't feel like it was exciting or new or innovative, and I just didn't really like it. So if Boyhood does win at the end of the night, my heart will sink a little bit, because I'm definitely rooting for Birdman. Birdman was so exciting and keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it just deserves it. So out of all of the movies nominated, that's what I would pick, and I guess we'll see if the Academy voters agree with me. If you want to see my full list of winners, you can check out my blog, brynnybuzz.com/WordPress1, or you can just check out my Twitter page at Brynn, that's BRYNN_H, and right there, my blog links from my Twitter page, so you can go ahead and do that. So, thanks so much for watching, and let me know in the comments below whether or not you agree with my choices, or if you think that I'm totally wrong, because I think it's so much fun to discuss what the best movies of the year were, and maybe we can talk and chat tomorrow too, and tweet and stuff as the awards are coming down. That's part of my favorite thing as well, to watch and see what everybody else is thinking and see what the reactions are. I hope some really exciting and unexpected things happen too, because that's part of the fun of award shows, right? You don't want to know exactly what's going to happen. And I want to see how Neil Patrick Harris is as the host. I don't think he'll be maybe as good as someone like Billy Crystal. I think he'll be more appropriate than Seth MacFarlane, and maybe not quite as good as, say, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are for the Golden Globes. But anyway, I'm really excited, and I hope you are too. So thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.